Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. I'm doing Friend a Tree Week. The energies of the equinox wax and wane like the energies of the moon do. And so I don't do just a set week from Sunday through Saturday. I choose 3 days before the equinox and 3 days after. So you get the waxing and waning periods. And so this week it's March the 17th, I think that's a Monday, through March 24th. And next week, I have a special guest. Well, in fact, last week's guest was planned for Friend a Tree Week, and that was April Alexander, and we talked about tree and herb medicine and just connecting with nature. And then next week, for Friend a Tree Week, I have my friend Moni Castaneda, who is a Feng Shui expert, and she's going to talk about Feng Shui energies in our landscape, how we can use those and how important they are in helping us around our yard. And then the following week, the last week of March, sorry, I was thinking in my mind here, Michelle Gibson's going to join us again, and we're going to talk more about holding intentions and also the giant trees. I wanted to just show you how you can connect with tree energy for Friend a Tree Week, because Friend a Tree Week isn't like National Arbor Week or whatever, just as an appreciation of nature and appreciation of trees. I designed Friend a Tree Week for a specific reason, which is to convey learn to tap into and know our own spirit's intentions, those in the deepest intentions in our heart and soul that our spirit yearns for, and how we can tap into those and how we can hold those for ourselves, for our families, and for the universe. And the trees then send that message of our intention of those spirits' desires throughout the universe to help everyone else tap into their own spirit's intentions, so that as the universe then, as a mass consciousness on earth, we become more and more true to our spirit's intentions. So to tap into tree energy, I like to be barefoot or in leather-soled shoes, but you don't have to be. It's just easier, I think. And stand next to a tree, and then put your tree on it, like your hands on the tree, like I show in the picture, and just pause. Take a couple deep breaths. You might want to start doing this at a tree that's kind of hidden from view from other people, so that you don't feel as self-conscious in doing it. Or hold the tree on the side that's opposite where your neighbor lives or something, so that people can't see you as easily, and you won't feel as nervous. And take a 2 or 3 deep breaths, and then just pause and just feel what you can feel. The tree energy is very strong, I feel it anyway, and it goes straight up and down just like the tree does. Other energies, like say different flowers, or say vines. Vines are kind of have a viney energy, and bushes that have long branches on them that are delicate and beautiful in their spread, and they blow in the breeze. That's kind of the energy that you'll feel from them. It's just soft and delicate. Some herbs, depending on their medicinal uses, you might feel a spicy energy. Anyway, but trees are up and down energy, very quick and flowing. You can feel it, it's strong. So don't even worry first about holding the spirit's intentions. Just practice trying to tap into tree energy and see if you can do that. And it might take you a week or two. That's why I'm starting to talk a week ahead of Friend a Tree Week, so that you have time to practice before all those waxing and waning energies come that we can really tap into. And then the spirit's intentions is then once you can feel the tree energy. Or some people, it's it doesn't come naturally at all. And because we're so used to being living from our mind and doing the thinking and processing and not tapping into the heart's desires, then a lot of times it's not as easy to feel into the energy. And that's okay. It just takes practice. We're all made with the abilities to do so because we're spirit beings, and so is the tree is spirit being, and so we can tap into that. But it takes practice, and so don't worry about it if it doesn't come naturally and you don't feel it to start with. And if you try for a week and you still can't, then don't worry about it. Just hold your spirit's intentions, and I'll talk about the spirit's intentions in a little bit here. And so when you hold the spirit's intention, and you can also use this method to hold your own intentions, whatever it is, your intentions that you want for your own life or for your family, then you hold the tree and energy, and when you tap into the energy and feel the tree, then you say those intentions from your heart, and picture them in your mind, or you can look up physically too, but picture in your mind all that energy, the messages from the tree, because our thoughts are energy and intention, and sending up through the tree, through the branches, and picture it in your mind. So put your focus then in the sky, as if you can see those intentions going through the leaves of the trees and out into the universe. And again, it takes imagination until eventually you'll be able to see it without imagining it, and you actually will be able to see it in your mind or see it physically too. And so that's how I do the spirit's intentions, or any intentions that I'm holding through a tree. And I wanted to talk about the spirit's intentions, and I wanted to read a little segment from my book. I have Ancestral River, Spiritual Journey for the Living and the Dead, and it tells my inner healing journey over the last several years, and how the changes I went through in starting to hitting my emotional bottom, couldn't go any deeper, and finding healing, finding energy work, and how it changed me, and how it healed me and made me a lot happier. And other spiritual truths I found through there, like learning that I could see ancestors and talk to them. And I had no clue of that before. And this all happened when I started energy medicine and started my inner healing journey. And I've been giving other wisdom also through meditation and through spiritual hypnosis, and also just as I'm working in the biofields. And because it's working in spirit around us, we're spirit beings. And one of the things that I was told about was the spirit's intentions. And actually the process is called holding our spirit's intentions. And I wanted to read just a page or two of the book that talks about how I came into learning about this. And so I was overwhelmed with worry for my growing children one day. And I asked my ancestors in the oneness for wisdom. And my dad, who was in the oneness, said, I worried about your decisions, knowing you would hurt, knowing your children would hurt. I had a couple bad marriages and some abuse in there, and so Dad worried. But even though he was telling me he worried, I couldn't stop worrying about my own children, because I was worried about the decisions they were making, and it was making me ill, physically sick. And I said to Universal Spirit, help me. My mind just won't stop. It keeps going and going. Universal Spirit's words were soft and kind. Give it to me. Consciously choose to let me hold your mind. My mind had forgotten that I was spirit. I had forgotten that my emotions and memories were held all the time by Universal Spirit in the light waves around me. Consciously choosing for my spirit to be in charge, I said, Mind, you've worked so hard to keep me safe, because that's what our old patterns are for, right? They're out of self-protection. You've worked so hard to keep me safe. but I don't want you to feel so frazzled. So I'm giving you to Universal Spirit, the one who holds all things at all times. I'm still talking to my mind here, and said, you're made of spirit. It's holding you. You're not alone. You're always safe. You're always held. And immediately my mind went deeply calm for several hours. Every time I felt the slightest hint of fight or flight worry again, I lovingly said, mind, you're being held by Universal Spirit. And each time the worry stopped and gratitude filled my heart. I focused and thought clearly again, calmly and free of fear. After I tuned my biofield one day, several of my ancestors from generations long ago were ready to transition, but one in particular drew my attention. Without thinking, words just flowed from my mind. I saw it was a male man. I could see his energy, not with my eyes. I saw it with my mind. It was, and words just poured out of me. I said, "It's you. It's you. Thank you for all you've done." And I figured, I didn't have any idea who this ancestor was. I don't know why those words poured out of me. And I figured, well, he must have had a very important role in the world. Perhaps he was Abraham Lincoln, or like Abraham Lincoln. But then why in the world did I think of Abraham Lincoln right away, right? Did the man look like Abraham Lincoln? I only saw him in my mind. I couldn't see his face real clearly. But he left in the vortex. He transitioned to the oneness. Weeks later, a friend announced that she was expecting her first child. And knowing that in the womb, the baby spirit would remember being in the oneness, I said to Universal Spirit, how can I help this baby remember that she's always part of the oneness? And Universal Spirit said, hold her like I hold you. Universal Spirit took me in a vision past the stars, sun, and moon. A little baby, sorry, I get emotional here. A little baby was very scared. I could see this little baby. It was me. Because I had trauma when I was in the womb. My mother and father wanted more children, but my brother was only like 8 months old when they got pregnant again, and she wasn't ready to be pregnant again. She didn't want another baby right then, just later. And for whatever amount of time it was, days or weeks, hours, I felt unwanted very, very strongly. And I learned that through spiritual hypnosis. I went through that scenario several times to experience different parts of it, to know how deeply the baby in the womb feels that oneness with Universal Spirit, remembers it's in the oneness, and then as the body starts to form around us, we lose that feeling of deep connection because our mind starts working and our body starts working, and so we still feel the oneness, and we feel very, very strongly then the emotions of our mothers or fathers or things happening around us, and come to feel worry that we're not wanted, we're not loved and wanted at all times. And so we feel that fear. And so I saw this little baby, and it was me. And so I reached out and pulled her close to me and held her. And I said, everything's okay, little one. And Universal Spirit said, I held you when you were scared. And I asked, when I was in the womb, or during the trauma when I was 3. And Spirit said, I hold you always, but in the womb, the mind soon forgets that it's being held. Parents used to hold the Spirit's intentions for their children beginning at conception and teach them that they were part of the oneness, but few people hold their future generations now. That's what Universal Spirit or God told me. And somehow knowing that when Universal Spirit said I, he meant we, I said, I'd like to meet the ancestor who held me. And as I stood in the oneness, in this vision, ancestors gathered in front of me, and then they separated, and this path opened in front of me down the center of the ancestors. And again, the words poured out of my mouth, "It's you." It was the same man, the same Abraham Lincoln-like ancestor who had been holding the Spirit's intentions, the intentions for my spirit to remember that I was one with Universal Spirit. And I said, "Well, who are you?" And he said, "My name doesn't matter. I'm from your Grandpa Tobias's clan. During gestation, my mind had forgotten my oneness, yet long before I was born, this paternal ancestor had held my spirit's intentions for me." And I wondered if that was why I had had this deep yearning and felt that spirit's intention of yearning for Universal Spirit all my life. And then I go into, in that chapter, how I learned what the Spirit's intentions were, and held those intentions for my friend's baby who was in the womb, and how then in holding these intentions, I came to feel those intentions of the baby. I felt those energies and talked with the baby, and I learned to do that with my adult children and with other friends, and how to tap into other people's energies in the universe. And so I just wanted to go over more briefly what the Spirit's intentions are. And you don't have to worry about remembering these. I have them on my website, and the link is down below in the show notes. It's on my website, ancestralriver.com /friend a tree, with the little hyphens between friend a tree. And there's also, when you just go to the homepage of the website, there's a picture of that poster showing Friend a Tree Week, and you can click on the little button there to go to that page. And I have resources there to help you learn how to do tree energy and learn what the Spirit's intentions are. But to go over briefly, our Spirit's intention then is to always know that we're one with Universal Spirit. I found out later in my work and in my meditations and such that this has 5 parts, and those 5 parts are correlated to our 5 spiritual chakras that are located in our biofield. Most everyone knows about the 7 main chakras from root to crown that are located in our bodies. Then we have these 5 spiritual chakras that are located in our biofield, and actually some of them are in our ancestral biofield as well. And so anyway, so there's 5 parts to that we would know our oneness with Universal Spirit. And the first one is, this correlates with the spiritual chakra that's located below our feet, about 15 to 20 inches below our feet. And it's about knowing that we're spirit beings, and knowing that our spirits were designed to lead and guide our mind. And the second one is for the spiritual chakra that's located 15 to 20 inches above our crown. And it's often called the life purpose energy. It's the energy of desiring to hear our spirit, and learning then to align the hemispheres of our brain so that we can hear our spirit. Because when we're so constantly in the low-grade chronic fight or flight of our busy lives, or we're in the frantic ness of actually being in a fearful situation, the tissue between the hemispheres of our brain gets scrambled, the corpus callosum. And when it's kind of, the energy's all haywire in it, then the hemispheres of our brain can't communicate, and so we cannot hear our spirit within us. And so we have to hold the desire then of the spirits to know our intentions, and learn to then align the hemispheres of our brain so we can listen to our spirit. The third intention of knowing our oneness with Universal Spirit is for the spiritual chakra that's located 3 to 4 feet above our crown. And this one has the energies of consciously choosing to live as spirit being in every present moment, of recognizing when we are at that point of diverging between reacting in the old patterns or consciously choosing how to act. And so this is the energy of consciously choosing to live as spirit, consciously choosing how we're wanting to show up in the world. The fourth spiritual chakra then is on the inside of our outer edge of our biofield. And just like we have we're made of the light waves and particles of light that flow through the universe. They enter our biofield. Our biofield is just kind of like a plasma. It's slightly denser than the ether and the rest of the universe around us. And so every living thing then has a biofield, and it's called plasma, the energy there. And so this chakra 11, it's often called, is located just inside us. So it's like at our birth. And it is the energy of giving and receiving communications with the universe, living in harmony with the universe, choosing to receive all those messages, all those information that the stars bring us as being for our highest good, and trusting that they're for our highest good instead of with fear or resistance of any other kind. And so that's the fourth one, living in harmony. And then the fifth one is on the outer edge of our outer membrane of our biofield. And it's about knowing that we came from the oneness and will return to the oneness. And that the only way the universe can be all it is meant to be is that if each of us tap into our spirit, hear our spirit's intentions, those things that are our passions and desires that our soul wants to bring into fruition, that the spirit within us is guiding us to contribute to the world in our lives. And the only way the universe can be all it is meant to be is if we bring those inner desires into action, into fruition in the world around us. And it might not be life-changing. It might be simple things but they can only be done in the way you can do them, and they'll touch the hearts of many people, even the very simple things. And that's our contribution. It might be something big that you can see changes many people's lives. Wherever those soul desires are, and you'll have many of them through your lives, bring them into fruition from your spirit, and contribute what you can to the world. And so those 5 parts are our spirit's intentions of knowing our oneness with universal spirit.